Best known for his Bollywood creations,
With 83, we are getting emotional catharsis. We're getting messages that runs into two pages.
he directed the recent film 83.
Sometimes those messages are so overwhelming. I'll be very honest. I get tears in my eyes just reading them.
NewsX India A-list proudly recognizes Kabir Khan for excellence in filmmaking.
Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview on NewsX. We are in conversation today on our special show NewsX A-list with acclaimed filmmaker and captain of the 83 ship, which has just wowed the nation, Kabir Khan. Kabir, welcome to NewsX. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Uday.
As I said, you've really been captain of this ship. This has been your labor of love for a while. So before we get to the whole filmmaking process, I just want to talk to you about the euphoric response. What's the feeling like? I mean, I know you held it for a while, but it did get its big theatrical release finally. You were able to have that big bang premiere in Mumbai. So what's the feeling looking at how it's gone and how it's finally reached, where you wanted it to, and the euphoric response, as I said, that the country has been giving your film?
Actually, you're absolutely right. The euphoric response and the love and the appreciation is so humbling. Of course, initially when we did the media screenings and the kind of unanimous, fantastic reviews that started coming out, that in fact, elated all of us. But then the kind of, why I say humbling is that it's not the usual. We've had some successful films earlier in our career, both Ranveer and I, and we were just sharing notes, and we said that you get messages, congratulations, great film, all that kind of stuff. We are not getting anything like that for 83. With 83, we are getting emotional catharsis. We're getting messages that runs into two pages. We talk, getting people saying that it's a life-altering moment. It's getting people are crying in the theaters. They're sending us videos from their theaters, which they look like stadiums. People are waving flags. People are yelling. They're screaming. They're whistling. It's really overwhelming. Especially because never before have we experienced this. I think, I don't know, maybe we are all in a bit of an emotional state also because of, the pandemic and what all of us collectively have been going through. But, Ranveer and I both are saying that we seem to be breaking down also more often during sometimes those messages are so overwhelming. I'll be very honest, I get tears in my eyes just reading them.
Yeah. Well, you combined, of course, cricket and cinema. So these are the two, the two things that our country thrives on. I mean, literally, this response was bound to come. But can I ask you for one or two compliments or some special messages that have been perhaps the most touching for you? And do you know who they came from? Are there one or two that you can share with us?
I mean, there have been, as I said, thousands of them, and yes, of course, fabulous ones by the people from the industry. But the ones from the industry are also available on social media, and people can see it. So I don't need to sort of repeat and mention those. But there's one that really stuck with me and made me very emotional. Is from a friend of mine who, she said in her message after she saw the film that she said, I wasn't one of those kids who disliked cricket. I was one of those kids who hated cricket. I hated it when people in my family switched on the television and would end up watching cricket, and I would get really upset and I would cry and I would walk away from there. And she said, tonight when I was watching your film, and I said, oh my God, she said it was a life-altering moment for her, because she said, if this is the emotion that cricket gets in you, then have I missed out on a large part of my life? Have I made a mistake by not, participating in what my family was? So I think that was such a amazing message for me. And since then, I must say, Uday, the strongest responses have come from people who are not cricket buffs. They've come from women, have come from children who have not who don't really follow cricket or know anything about 1983. And that's, I think, been really rewarding and gratifying for me as a filmmaker.
No doubt. But I just want to also ask you about that moment. When was the first time that Kapil Dev and and some of the other members of the actual original 1983 squad watched the film? When did you show it to them first, and what was their response? Because often biopics are made and the people they're made on are not alive to watch it. But here you were lucky that the team is there. Apart from of course one member tragically, but the team is there to watch your labor of love.
Absolutely. No, but an amazing fact that actually not too many people know is that Kapil Dev and the teams told us that we will only watch the film when the entire team comes together, and none of us will watch it separately or individually before everybody can come together. So they have actually watched it literally 2 days before the release. And I can't tell you how amazing that is. Because one, of course, it made me nervous because I said, my God, that's a huge sort of responsibility on me.
Yeah.
But two, it gave me such a feeling of warmth because I said, my God, how much do these people trust me? They have given me their life story, and they have said that we will watch it 2 days after release. That's the amount of trust they've put in me. So I think it was an unbelievable sort of emotional moment for me. And I was so happy that at the end of their screening, the way they sort of stood up and they had tears in their eyes and they hugged us and they were so effusive in their love for the whole team. You know, all the boys who have played their characters, the entire team that's put it together. That is why this film is so special, Uday. It's really, you know, it's not one of those cliches that we usually say around every film that we make. 83 is truly a very blessed project. You know, I've made many films before this. I will continue to make films after this, but there will only be 183 in my life because there's something about the story and the original people we're making about, which is just blessed. It's not that, you know, what you call the magic dust on the project. That's what this is.
Yeah. True. In fact, you know, Sakib was just telling me a day ago about the entire process, how they felt it wasn't a filming they were going for, but they were actually going to play the World Cup because, you know, they imbibed their characters so much and the training was so amazing as well. But just taking you again a little bit back into memory lane on where the idea first came from. So what was that moment? What was that factor that made you do this film? Tell us about that and when it happened.
I must mention one of our producers, Vishnu Induri here. Vishnu is the first person to have actually 9 years ago approached Kapil sir and said, why don't we make a film on 83? And Kapil sir at that point said, no, it's too early. We should not, you know, think about it right now. Let some time pass. But Vishnu didn't relent. He just went on and on and on with Kapil sir. And finally, Kapil sir, I think, put it on their group. They have this WhatsApp group today called Champions Forever, where all the 83 members are there. And that's how the process started. But then when it came to me, it was a no-brainer, right? It's been one of the, in fact, I sometimes wonder why nobody made it before me. You know, it's this iconic story sitting there, you know, in front of us for the last 38 years. Why didn't anybody pick it up? But I'm really glad that it waited for me. I'm really glad that, you know, I got an opportunity to tell this story because, you know, I know that, you know, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line when people will, if ever they speak about my filmography, 83 will be one of the sort of crowning glories of my filmography. And I've often said, sometimes filmmakers don't choose stories. Stories choose filmmakers. And in this case, I'm so glad this story chose me. And I had the privilege of telling this onto the big screen and putting it out there for posterity now. For anybody who wants to see what happened, the magic of 1983 is there for you to watch.
I have to quickly ask you then how you chose your captain, how you chose Ranveer Singh to play Kapil Dev. I think he was the first to be cast, if I'm not mistaken.
Choice. Yes, he was the first to be cast, and it was a gut instinct. You know, people often have asked me why Ranveer. He doesn't really look like Kapil Dev. I mean, this is before the film. Today, after the film, of course, they're saying that, oh my God, we don't see Ranveer, we're only seeing Kapil. But it was a gut instinct. There was something about Ranveer I knew that he will be able to do it because, you know, if you see his last 3-4 films, forget the fact that it will not look like the same actor. It won't look like the same human being. You feel that how can this person be sound and appear like this and also be this? His eyes change, his expressions change. His you know, he's I often call him a chameleon. He's a chameleon. He just takes the color of whatever he's standing next to, or whichever character he decides to imbibe. So and I'm so glad that he was my first choice. I'm so glad he decided to go ahead and do it because now when people are seeing the film, I don't think anybody can even imagine who else could do this.
Yeah, no doubt, exactly. And final question then to you, I have to ask you the real Kabir Khan on his real 83 moment as well. Do you have an 83 story about when you won the World Cup? Where were you? What were you doing?
So I had just reached Hyderabad that morning, and that's my hometown. I was born there. And so I'd gone to my grandfather's ancestral home where a large extended family was there. So actually perfect setting to sit and watch a thing. I was in school, I was young. And now when I look back, I don't have very distinct memories of like watching the game itself, but I have very distinct memories of me wondering after the game, why has the world gone mad? Why are people, grown up men in my family crying? Why are people running around on the streets, exploding firecrackers? And that's a very distinct memory. And now, so many years later, that's the madness that I'm trying to recreate in the theaters when people go and watch 83.
Well, congratulations again on the response, Kabir Khan. And thank you so much for joining us today on NewsX. Do you have a project coming up, or are you just soaking in now the 83 magic?
Soaking in for now. We'll start working on them in January.
Okay. So we'll chat on that, of course, in 2022. But for now, congrats again and thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Uday. Bye-bye.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.